this is the last episode of the podcast for this year. But I saved the best for last for you guys. We have Twitch partner, I can also say fellow Dragon Squad member, awesome streamer, content creator. She does it all. Ladies and gentlemen, she is always online. Ladies and gentlemen, show your love for JenIsOnline.
Hello.
Jen, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you? Are you getting ready for the holiday season?
Yeah, yep. Family's gonna be coming over for Thanksgiving, so I'm gonna be helping them out with some cooking, and yeah, pretty much.
That sounds super nice.
Oh yeah, my brother and my niece, they're coming over, and everything. So it's gonna be a fun little family Thanksgiving. Any plans for you for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, actually today, right after our chat, I'm gonna go over to my brother's house. Because during actual Thanksgiving, he's gonna be off on something for work. So they're doing it today.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what's up. Working on Thanksgiving. Hey, sometimes
more likely than you think.
Oh yeah. Oh, I believe it. Why don't you tell the world who JenIsOnline is?
Gasp, of course. Hi, I'm Jen, or JenIsOnline. I stream here on Twitch Sundays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. I also make content over on YouTube and TikTok and Spotify. I'm a huge fan of Dungeons and Dragons and all things very gay and queer. I am a plus-sized, body-positive queer content creator, and I am out here trying to make people laugh. I love laughing, and I try to make comedy content out of Souls games and horror games.
And she is very good at that. If you guys have seen her play Elden Ring, she is probably the funniest Elden Ring streamer I've seen.
That's and so nice.
Even though now I know I'm lurking in your streams only because I too am playing Elden Ring and suffering myself, so I don't want to be spoiled. But if Elden Ring were to have like an IRL comedy segment, she would be perfect for that, let me tell you.
That's so sweet.
Something else some of you guys may not know, like myself, Jen also hosts a podcast.
I do. Except it's a Dungeons and Dragons related podcast. It's called The Overprepared DM. It is about is myself, and I bring on guests and talk with them about what it's like to be a TTRPG host or a dungeon master or a game master, whatever people like to be called. We talk about the ins and outs of what it's like to run games and sort of do's and don'ts, and people can listen to our advice or they can just chat along with us. It's really fun.
Oh, okay. So I assume you guys touch on Baldur's Gate 3 as well?
I would love to. It will be in this next season that I'm recording right now. But yeah, so far what's out currently, based on when this comes out, in 2025, we'll be chatting a little bit about some Baldur's Gate vibes.
Oh, okay. Have you played Baldur's Gate yourself? Or?
I did. I played it in entirety. It took me 9 months. I played it once a week.
I just got that game myself, and I myself haven't played it only because I've been playing a lot of other games that have been taking up a lot of my time. But I've heard people like, I don't want to say worship, but I've heard people praise upon it. Like,
it's basically worship.
yeah, basically.
All hail, I was gonna say, the Vampire Daddy, but then I got lost in thought because there's so many good options of saying like, all hail, Step on Me Mommy Karlach, all hail, the lesbian couple, all hail Will. You could do it. You could worship any of them. They're all fantastic.
Also, for those that don't know, I did meet her IRL back at DreamHack, and everything that you guys have seen about her online, that's how she is.
Yeah, I'm very high energy in person, and I truly try to be the exact same person that I am online. I'd say the only difference is that I'm not constantly talking in person or on a podcast where it's just you and me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We're having a conversation. But if I'm streaming and I'm on my own, I'm gonna be yapping because that's my space to talk about all sorts of stuff. But yeah, I would say that's the only difference.
You've accomplished so much in your streaming journey. I know you became Twitch partner. I could be wrong on this. Was it this year?
It
Last
was.
year?
It was the beginning of this year. So we're almost a year old.
Almost a year Twitch partner. I mean, you should be really, really proud of yourself. Like, when you tell me, like, what was it like when you first found out you became Twitch partner? What was that like for you?
I cried. I cried because a lot of negative things have been going on, and then I also got banned for one day 2 months prior as an accident. I didn't do anything. It was like they did a bot sweep, and they swept my channel up along with the bots. So they basically banned my channel and were like, "You're a bot." And I was like, "I'm not a bot. Please give my account back." And I was really worried that that was going to affect my my partner application, but it didn't. So it was like a relief cry. I felt really, really happy. And also, there's like a little bit of pressure of like keeping your numbers up around when you apply and when like waiting for them to answer, because they want you to stay consistent, of course. So I started getting a lot more anxiety around streaming for those couple months that I was waiting for the answer to come back. But I cried. It was really, really exciting. So, oh, that's me.
What kept you going during those times? Leading up to
Honestly,
the Twitch partnership?
The community, because they were really positive and encouraging around me continuing to do what's best for me, and like encouraging and feeling and making me feel as though like I'm going to make it, things are going to work, and we love to see it. So yeah.
And you have built a very strong community, let me tell you.
Thanks.
You know,
they're really great. I love them.
They are really supportive of you, you know, and everything. And I've seen how you've built your community, and you really should be really happy for yourself.
Thanks. I mean, that's really nice.
Of course. You know, being a voice in the LGBTQ community in Twitch. Of course, you're going to be faced with a lot of opposition.
Yes.
Can you kind of tell me of a time that you went through your biggest opposition and how you and your community came together to overcome that?
Totally. There's a period of time, and it still happens now, just not as often, but there's a thing on Twitch called hate raiding, where a group of people will come into another person's channel and spread hate. And it is not something that only happens in the LGBTQIA plus space. It happens everywhere. It happens to marginalized communities everywhere for one thing or another. But we've got there was one period of time in 2022 where we got raided 7 times, every single stream, like 7 times over the course of 1 week. And it was targeted. It was really frustrating, and it started making me feel low about myself and my content and my community. Really, we came together, we chatted about what we could do, and that was when Twitch safety features started getting more involved. This was before Twitch safety features became a little bit more involved. And so we set up our own version of shield mode, essentially. And shield mode is when you turn it on, it clears the chat, it deletes people who have been spamming the same things. The mods will go at it and start banning people, and it'll put it in follower only and sub only for the duration of the raid, essentially. So it sucks when that happens, because it sort of takes away from the cadence and the drive and the flow of the stream, because you kind of have to stop. You have to stop what you're doing, and you have to keep the chat and the community safe, because people in chat are attacking. So we have, over time, since that happened 2 years ago, over time we have a excruciatingly smooth process now. First off, we have a lot of safety bots downloaded. So we have SariBot, we have AutoMod, we have all sorts of stuff, and I have a bunch of words that are banned, and we just keep adding to that list as things come up. But the mods will ban things as quickly as they can, and I just keep going. Because we want the cadence and the vibe of the stream to stay positive, and we don't acknowledge and we truly ignore bullies, because just like we were taught when we were kids, if you don't show them any reaction, they'll get bored. They'll get bored. And while sometimes negative comments do bother me, specifically more so comments based on things I can't change about myself, like my teeth or my nose or whatever, I do still, with the same, hopefully, grace, just keep on going. I'm like, well, that's my face, and that's how that goes, and we just keep on moving. I don't even respond. I'll say it in my head, and we'll just keep on playing games. I'll clock it, and the mods will delete it as quickly as possible. The mods have gotten so fast, however, that they are banning things before I even read them. So that's always really nice.
Hey, those are some god tier mods right there. So shout out to Jen's mods.
It's true. They're so great. God
tier mods right there. As I alluded earlier, we did meet at a DreamHack. We met at DreamHack in Dallas. Was that your first time in Texas?
No, it was just my first time at DreamHack.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I actually lived in Texas for 12 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then I moved to Colorado, and I've been living there for the past 6 years. Almost 7.
Ah.
And now I'm back in Texas.
Now you're back in Texas.
Yep.
What made you move back? Was it like a jump? Well, I know
yes.
You don't want to...
That's fine. Yeah, I moved back because of my unemployment issue. I got let go from my job as well as a bunch of other people earlier in the year, and I've been struggling to find a job. So I needed to lean on some supports and keep on looking so I don't become homeless.
I'm very first.
I'm laughing, but it's not funny. You know what I mean?
Right. But first, I'm sorry. If you don't mind me asking, what kind of what were you doing before?
Oh, I was working in project management and marketing and things like that. But I have experience in a bunch of things. I am an ex-counselor. I have a master's degree in mental health science, and I was doing counseling for drug addiction and things like that during COVID. I ended up leaving the field during COVID because it was way too much, and I started working in event coordination and project management and marketing.
I'll be honest with you, this job market is very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm blessed to have the job that I have now, which for those that don't know, I'm a senior staff accountant. So for those that don't know, and even you would think for an accounting field, and people need that, right? It's even for that field, it was difficult for me to find a job. Yeah, I actually had to go through a recruiter to get the job I'm at now. So,
how long have you been there?
I've only been there 2 months.
Oh, that's not bad. Well, good job. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I know people say keep looking. I mean, and to be honest, that's all you can do is keep looking. But I would also say if you know somebody, or if you know of a really good recruiter, I would say look those up. They can help you find they can help. 9 times out of 10, at least from my experience, it depends on the recruiter. Sometimes
I've had really shitty experiences with recruiters, but I do know that there are recruiters who do care and are great. Totally good recommendation.
Exactly. I've had maybe 8, I don't want to say 8, maybe 5 recruiters, and 3 of them were pretty bad, but I'm with one
But there's
now
the two that are not too bad.
And
Yeah.
the one I'm with now is probably the best one I've had because she got me my last job, which I was a regular staff accountant. Unfortunately, they wanted to keep me full time, but they had a hiring freeze and there were a bunch of layoffs going on. And unfortunately,
Yeah.
I was a victim of that. So
Raise your hand if you've been victimized by layoffs. Yep.
You want to know something? I've even gotten to my first boss in Elden Ring.
You haven't?
No.
You just started.
I just started, and I feel like there was one boss enemy I got to, and I got destroyed. I got destroyed in like 2 seconds. I was like, yeah, maybe I should level up my character a bit more.
Is it the boss that's right outside, like the first fire, like after you leave the tutorial area, or are you talking about like the tutorial boss?
It's right after that. So when you
the guy on the horse.
I think
you don't have to kill him.
Wait, what? Really?
You don't have to kill him. He's an optional thing. He's really hard, but he's hard on purpose. But like that, you are underleveled. Like, yes, you don't have to kill him yet, though. You can, but you can go and do other stuff. The realization is so funny. Yeah, I didn't kill him until later. I'm doing the co-op mod, so I have a bunch of people who are joining me, and we just ran in, like all of us level 1 babies, just throwing ourselves. And he eventually died, but yeah, no, he's way too strong. Happens to the best of us.
I honestly did not know that.
Yeah, you don't have to fight him. Wow. I'm sure you'll have an easier time if you do something else.
So back on the topic here. What have been like your most valuable experiences in the 4 years that you've been streaming?
Like valuable lessons or experiences being what?
Like, what are some things that have happened that you've had happen to yourself on stream or rather, what have been like your biggest victories in streaming, I guess?
Okay.
Outside of becoming Twitch partner.
Sure. I would say that I base my victories off of different sort of like criteria, because a lot of people base it off of like followers and viewer count and things like that. And at the end of the day, those aren't things that you can control. I can promote my stream all over the place, but I can't control who shows up. So right. I shouldn't, and I can't make goals about that because I'll just beat myself up about it. So I try to make goals about things that I can control. And a lot of my goals are, like leveling up my setup or like making enough money through streaming and through sponsorships in order to get new items or something like that. Like that's a really big win for me to even be able to do that at all. But I would say, over time, some of the largest wins we've had have been charity based. We had a 24-hour charity stream, like very first year of streaming, and it was like so incredibly successful and so fun, and I like brought a bunch of people on, and it was like a really huge hubbub, and I just really, really enjoyed my time, and I like remember this experience really really light and really with a lot of positivity because it was a good sort of like turning point for my content. As well, I also really enjoy the moments when I changed my content. Every time that I did change my content, I enjoy what I'm doing now, but I also enjoyed what I was doing before. When I started streaming, I did like variety retro and like true variety stuff. And then I moved into exclusively horror games because I was like, this is what I like the most. And then I started playing Souls games, and now I'm a Souls content creator. So it's like things over time have shifted, and the reason that I consider those as wins is because those are times in my life where I can mark that I have made a change to create more happiness for myself, and I haven't been like too scared to do it. So I really appreciate when people stick around and vibe no matter what we're doing, but I'm always trying to create the space for myself. And I would say another win would be our very first sponsor. Our very first sponsor was I was offered sponsorships prior, but I didn't take them because I didn't know enough about sponsorships, that I was just sort of like about them.
Right.
But my very first sponsorship I took was HelloFresh back in January 2023, and it was so incredibly successful, and it was so much fun that I started looking into more sponsorships. And over time we were sponsored by Mattel, which is literally the company that made Barbie during the Barbie movie time, and that's probably my largest sponsor that I feel so like incredibly proud of having. And so I would say things like just the growth over time, being able to see all of those things and doing all of it for myself, and then also finding sponsors that help me not rely on the stream itself for money, but for other outlying sources, which is my current goal, is to sustain myself off of not subs.
Hey, I love how you word it. I love how you put that.
No,
I really
thanks.
love that. It's because I know, when people stream full time, they think about, oh, what if I don't get enough subs, I won't
make enough money.
I think you need to like diversify your income if you're gonna do that. Like
100%.
Sponsorships, subs, even working a part or even a full-time job can help with that, because you always want to have like you always want to have a backup plan if streaming full-time doesn't go the way it goes. And
exactly.
And streaming full-time, it's not easy. It's
any job.
Like working a a full-time job is not easy. You gotta have to put in the work, and there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that it's gonna take off. I mean, there is a bit of luck involved in that. Only a bit, but
yeah,
it's that I feel like that's something that people forget about when they start streaming full time.
For sure. Like, I am a full-time content creator, but only really because I am doing this without working a full-time 9-to-5 job. So like, I am a full-time content creator, but there's also like a reality that subscribers may not be realistic. But yeah, like subscriptions themselves are opt-in versus like me doing work for money, which is what I would prefer. And while I am not currently there yet, which is why I'm not fully saying I'm a full-time content creator, but like, my goal is like, I want to have like, I don't know, I have a Shure microphone. I would love for Shure to sponsor me on a monthly basis, and so that I can like have Shure like on my screen somewhere and like know that they help pay for the stream. I use like Elgato. I use a bunch of Elgato stuff. Like, I would love for them to sponsor me on a monthly, like, I want that sustainable, continued monthly income from the people that I already use. But we'll see. It happens over time.
Right. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Exactly. If you're considering it a sprint, then you're going for a viral video, which means you'll be famous for 30 seconds.
30 seconds, and
people forget about your name.
Yes. And then you'll end up like, and I'm gonna say it, you're gonna end up like a lot of kick streamers that do stupid.
Oop.
I'm gonna say it, that do stupid stuff for views and likes, and most of the time it's illegal.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying all kick streamers, but
no, there's a trend. Twitch has their own shitty content creators as well, though. I will give them that.
I mean, they all do. It seems to happen more so on Kick.
Yeah, it does. 100%.
Yeah, you don't have to be like ultra famous, but you can still make an impact in the community in some way.
Absolutely. No, there's like, tried and true like proof that content creators of all sizes have like a benefit in a marketing's room. Like, they all the voices and all the eyes. What really matters is the type of content that someone makes. because even if you like upload it to YouTube, it's there forever, so anyone could see it at any point. So yeah, no, there's a lot of benefit to content creators of all sizes doing shit.
I guess you don't have to like completely reinvent the wheel, but like you know, just put your own little spit into it.
Yeah.
You know, like you could borrow an idea from you could borrow a tried and true idea, and you know you could put your own little touch to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
And that can, and you know, and you can go from there with that. Another question that I wanted to ask you, Jen, is when you first started streaming, you know, what was like the trigger, I guess, that said, oh, this is what I want to do. I wanted to stream. I wanted to build a community. What was like the trigger for that?
So, I actually, when I was very young, 2006 to 2013, I was a YouTuber, and that content no longer exists because I'm dumb. I didn't say that, chat, please. I wasn't mean to myself. Because I deleted all of my content when I started doing Dungeons and Dragons content in 2019, because I just rebranded my old account on YouTube. I was gonna say, I knew it. I rebranded my old account on YouTube to my old Dungeons and Dragons channel, which is now again rebranded back into me, and I no longer have any of my stuff from 2006 to 2013. It does not exist, and I am so sad because I could have just unlisted everything and it could have just like stayed quiet in the background, but I deleted it all. I was like, no, I don't need this anymore because I this isn't me anymore, and I am so sad about that. But the trigger, I would say, was when I was doing my Dungeons and Dragons content with a group of other people. I wanted to get that feeling back that I had when I did YouTube content back in the day, and I was like, I'm feeling like there's a lot of really fun community and vibes around Dungeons and Dragons, and I really, really like Dungeons and Dragons. And I started moving outward and being like, okay, well, what else do I like? And then I made JenIsOnline. So now I make sort of like over time, I started like making my own content and making my own stuff, and then I was streaming on my own, and I had Dungeons and Dragons on one shoulder and then myself on the other shoulder, and I was juggling two different things. But it was truly like playing Dungeons and Dragons with a bunch of other content creators here on Twitch is what like pulled me into wanting to do my own thing. Not like I didn't want to be with them, I just wanted more stuff that I could do.
Right. Just for those that don't know, how did the name JenIsOnline come to be?
Oh God, no, I really don't have an answer for this. It is because I was, it was in 2015. I had an old Twitch account. It's called College Credit. It got banned from Twitch. Because I did one live stream where I smoked weed on stream, and it was in a state where weed is not legal. So the account got banned. That was in 2012. So that was my old account. So then 2015, I got on Twitch again for the first time in many, many years. And I was like, I'm gonna watch Germa. I'm pretty sure that's who I was watching. Germa985 is a really large content creator, and I wanted to speak in the chat, and I didn't have an account made, and I had just been like watching the streams for a few days, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna make an account. I don't have a name. I was just sitting there like, I need to make something, and I was like, okay, well, what if I use my own name? And I was like, okay, so Jen is here. Generation was an option that I had in my head, with just my name, like Jen. And then I was like, oh, I don't like that because what if people, I don't know. And then I was just like, well, Jen is at home. Jen is on the computer. Jen is online. And it was available. And I was like, all right, that's my name. And it stuck. And I actually really like it.
Well, since this is the final episode of the year, I'll say, do you have 2 pieces of advice you want to give to anyone who wants to get into the streaming or content creating space based on your experience?
Okay, 2 pieces of advice for people who want to start streaming. Watch streams. and it's not that you need to go and network and blah, 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 like that. You're going to hear that to the end of time, but watch streams, because you're going to learn based on watching people what you like, what you don't like, and what you think you could do better. And I think that helps you not only get ideas for your own content, but helps you sort of craft your own identity and brand before you even start streaming. And then once you start streaming, you have you also have more of an understanding of how Twitch works and the community around Twitch, channel points, all that stuff, and all the little details. But you have more of an idea of how content just works, being able to see who you are and who you want to be. Exactly that. So watch streams for educational purposes, not to rip people off, but to learn what you like, what you don't like, and what you want to become. The second thing is, know that your community will come with time. Do not push yourself into other people's streams trying to grab their viewers or trying to grab them. Like, don't force yourself into spaces where people are doing things that you don't actually enjoy. Do the things that you like, join the communities of other people that you like, and then it will all just sort of come together over time. If you're forcing yourself into places and you're like, well, I don't actually like Call of Duty, but I need another viewer, so I'm gonna go talk to this random stranger and be like, hi, I also stream. That's not right. Like, that's not a sustainable relationship. And I think that if hey, I'm playing Phasmophobia, I'm going to go check out the Phasmophobia category, and I'm going to go click around and see if there's people who I actually enjoy watching. I'll try to integrate into their community and become friends with them. And I think that's really just how you should make friends on Twitch, and try to come at people genuinely and not with the expectation of people watching you back, because your community will come with time. It comes with time, it comes with meeting people, it comes with doing collabs, it comes with reaching out and asking people to do stuff with you. But expecting a bunch of things right up front or anything like that is gonna lead you to burn out really fast. So that's my two pieces of advice. I have a lot more, but that's two.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it from the Twitch partner herself, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, one more round of applause for Miss JenIsOnline, everybody.
Thanks.
So now, the roles are reversed. Jen is the host now. I am the guest. Jen, the floor is yours.
Okay. As a mid-sized, smaller content creator, what is something that you have learned in your 4 years of streaming that you would give people advice about? Just one thing. You asked me the question I was going to ask you, so I mean.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, what's one, your biggest advice piece for a person starting to stream? What's yours?
I think you're the first guest to pull Uno reverse on me and ask a question that I asked someone on stream. Asked the guest. I love that.
In my defense, I planned on asking you this.
Got you. If I had to give one piece of advice, just don't quit. Over time, your viewers are gonna gravitate to you over time, and if they like what they see, they'll stick around. If they don't, they'll go. It happens. I would say, just don't stop. Just keep going, and don't view your community as numbers. View them as people, because
there's some really cool people who clicked on your stream.
Yeah, and they could watch any other streamer, but they chose to view you, and I feel like if you show that you really appreciate them, and I mean that you generally appreciate them supporting you, being in your community, it's gonna help you a very long way. Your community will grow, and before you know it, you're there. Also, I know you said one, but I actually have another two pieces of advice. Don't go into streaming expecting everything is going to happen like that. Because the reality of streaming is there are streamers that grow at various rates. I'm gonna be very honest with you here. Like I said, I've been in this scene for 4 years, and I'm considered like a small to mid-sized at this point, I'm a mid-sized streamer. At this point, I could complain and bitch and moan about it, but no, I'm not going. But you know, my content is, and sometimes it might take you a while to figure out what your content is. Like, I did a lot of variety before I figured out that JRPGs are my niche, because everybody loves seeing me play JRPGs, and you know, everybody loves doing my everyone loves seeing me dance on stream. Unfortunately, you won't see it today because I disabled my sound redemptions, which are all 90s related things like the ninja rap and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But all this stuff came over time, and how long it takes for you to to get to where you want to go in the stream, that really depends on you. I mean, and you know, I'm better off learning. I'm better off, you know, having slow genuine growth than fast growth that will last maybe 10 minutes and then goes away.
Yeah.
I like to grow organically and generally being myself. So those would be my two pieces of advice. Don't expect too much at the beginning, and don't quit. I mean, take breaks, of course, but don't stop.
Do what's best for your mental health, but don't stop. Big agree.
Oh yes, thank you for that question, Jen.
I have one more question for you, and it's only because I'm watching very important people on Dropout TV. What is the meaning of life?
Whoa.
To you? I know, isn't that such a great question?
That is a deep question.
To me,
what
it's
life
fun,
means to me.
like being able to have fun and do things that make you happy and not feel like the inevitable squashing of capitalism beneath our feet. But eventually we'll get there, and maybe it'll be the eternal solace of darkness that brings us to it, but maybe you have a way better answer.
That was kind of the direction I was gonna go, actually. But I would say, you know, since I've always been like an underdog in life, well, like people wouldn't think much of me, but I would surprise them with what I can become. Is life? I compare life is like a never-ending series of mountains. You climb top of one mountain, there's always going to be a bigger one. And I think how I see life is that you always climb the mountain, you always climb a bigger mountain every day. I mean, when I say mountain, I mean like there's going to be a lot of things, you know, work, you know, families, all that kind of stuff. All that builds up over time. But you know, and sometimes you're gonna fall off that mountain. You know, you're gonna have like some F-ups and stuff. It's part. I see life as, you know, your F-ups, your fuck-ups are part of the process.
Yeah.
And your
fuck-ups are part of the process.
Part of the process. You fail, and it's like you learn from it, and you just climb back up that mountain again. And with that, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of the podcast.
That was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, Jen. And I want to give a big shout out to everybody who was a part of this podcast this year. I've had a blast with the various people that I've, including yourself, Jen, that I've had on I had graced this podcast this year, and as I said, I cannot wait for season 4 in January, which I'm also going to announce. The podcast is season 4 of this podcast, which will be episode 31. Since today was episode number 30, episode 11 of this year, but episode 30 since I started doing it. Season 4 begins January the 25th. I will announce the guest on my socials at sometime next month, so sometime December. But I do want to thank everybody, and especially my mods and everything, keeping me going with this podcast for the past 3 years that I've been doing it, and it has been a blast. And I cannot wait to return to this podcast, do this podcast again next year in January. So, with all that, Jen, any closing remarks?
Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome, Jen. You are welcome. And since you're my guest, you get to choose who we get to raid to. So.
Oh, shoot. Okay. All right. Hold on. Let me see. I have Twitch up. Let's raid into... Let's raid into my lovely... I'll type it in chat. Let's raid into my lovely friend, Bad Investor.
Sounds good. Alrighty, guys. We are going to raid into Jen's friend, Bad Investor. And with that, guys, I will be back live with my gaming stream tomorrow. But, again, thank you guys for another successful year of the podcast. The podcast will be back in January, and like I said, there's going to be some new things with the podcast next year, so stay tuned and look forward to that. With that said, let's go right into Bad Investor.
Hell
yeah. Jen, for my mods, for everybody, thank you guys. You guys have a good rest of your weekend. Much love, everybody.
Bye.